Okay, I've got a big chunk of woods to cover. I'm going to be trying to keep up a pretty good pace. If I start getting into sign, I'll slow down. If not, I'm going to burn it up. I'll stop occasionally to call, of course. But I'm trying to cover some ground and find some turkeys right now. Notice how much of the ground is covered in green. It's real hard to find turkey sign like that. You get to a spot that's more bare with leaf litter, that's where you can really spot turkey scratch. And I don't know if turkeys prefer to scratch in bare leaves or not, but that's definitely where I find it. I'm not seeing anything here. Not yet, anyways. So, I've come up on something pretty interesting here in the middle of the woods. A whole pile of dead fish. They look like mostly buffalo, but there may be some carp in here. They're too well decomposed for me to even tell the difference. But there's some big ones too. 20 to 30 pound fish were in here. The only thing I can think of that would make sense is there's a lake down that way pretty good ways. I'm not sure exactly how far, but they came up in here a good ways. I would imagine when it flooded, the water just came up through here into this low lying spot and just filled this with water, and those fish came in to feed or whatever, and of course the water came down, they got trapped, and now the water's gone and there's a whole bunch of dead fish laying around. Kind of crazy how many big ones got up in here. I looked on Onyx and it says the lake is 400 yards away, so those fish came up in here a long ways. I thought maybe somebody was bow fishing and dumped their fish back in here, but I don't see any kind of trail that somebody would have drove in on, and I know they didn't carry all those fish back here. And it's all in that one low spot, so you can tell there was water in there. It's just solid mud. I just yelped and had a hen answer me. She's really close. It's a good way to practice your calling. Well, if that hen can carry on like that and I don't hear a single gobble, then I'm not going to go any farther in this spot. I'm going to go work my way back towards the truck. I haven't seen any turkey sign. That's the first bird I've come across, first sign of a turkey I've come across. Well, I haven't spotted anything yet, and definitely didn't get any answers either. Haven't seen any tracks in this spot, except for deer tracks. guess these fields aren't much worth checking, walking anymore. Just figured I would take a peek in case anything was out there. Saw one hen and she flew off. Alright, y'all. So I got a friend who has invited me to come out here and hunt his farm. And he doesn't really turkey hunt. So he said I'd come out here and try to kill one. He's been seeing some birds. And I'm going to be checking a couple fields here. If I don't see anything out in the open, I'll probably head down to the woods somewhere and set up. Coming down to a creek bottom. That's kind of where my money is at right now as far as where the turkeys might be. There's nothing up here in this top field, but there's a little bit of sign, a couple droppings. So they've been up in there. Here we got a couple sets of tracks. You got the hen and a gobbler track there. Definitely looks like the birds were headed into this clearing up here. Well, I just came over this rise in the end of this cornfield, and there he was with two hens. He had a short beard. I couldn't tell if that was a Jake or maybe a Tom with beard rot, but he had the hens to himself. I just had a hen and I guess a gobbler, longbeard, just came from behind this brush pile and ran off in the woods putting. So there is a gobbler in here. Or there was. I think they're going off onto the neighbors. Well, a crow went off and I think I possibly heard him gobble way down that way on the next property, which was the way he was headed. I don't think these birds are coming back anytime soon, but I think they may come back this afternoon for sure. There's a good chance of it anyway. I just need to find me a good place to sit and wait it out. The bearded hen. I thought it was a Jake at first. Got a bird gobbling way down that way. So far I can barely hear it. He gobbled. I thought I heard a gobble twice, and I yelped, and he gobbled right back. Might be that same bird I bumped earlier with the hens. I think this bird is across the creek. I mean, I guess he keeps gobbling. He's fired up, but he's so far I can barely hear it's a gobble. I just flushed like 2 or 3 hens. That bird is gobbling. He could be on my side of the creek. I've been bad about walking up on turkeys today. I mean, first it sounds like that bird is way across the creek. And then all of a sudden I hear him gobble and it sounds like he's on my side of the creek and I see hens flying away. I can get into the edge of this fence row so I have some form of cover if he shows up. Alright, so he may just be down in the woods or even in this field, possibly just over the rise. My best bet is to sit up here and call and watch the field. If he's gone quiet, he might be spooked or nervous because those hens flew. But he also might be right over this rise and he might come in silent. I got 2 hens dusting at about 6 yards, so I can't move. I was laying down against this tree stump here, and those 3 hens snuck in. They're about 6 or 7 yards, and they're just dusting in the dirt right here. So I couldn't sit up or anything. I just had to use my phone. Anyways, when I wasn't recording, a hen cackled farther down, and that bird gobbled again. He's still down in the same spot. Those 3 hens were dusting right there. I was sitting right there. I'm just starting to ease over and I see 2 heads about 40 yards out bobbing down over the rise. I'm not sure if they saw me or not, but I'm not gonna get any closer. I'm gonna go that way, try to swing a wide loop around, get into these woods, and see if I can sneak up from the other way. I really don't know how close I'll be able to get. I can't keep walking this open field because it's too easy to walk up on them and then all of a sudden they're right there. Alright, I'm coming up to this corner of the field where I think that tom was. There's fresh scratch all up in this thicket here. Just gotta be extremely careful. I'm pretty sure the gobbler and his hens were in this thicket because of all that fresh scratch, and it appears that they went that way, judging by most of the scratch. So I guess I'm gonna get back out on this field again. Basically just walked a big circle. I'm gonna go way across the field back to the road, and I'm gonna start heading down towards that creek bottom because I think these birds might be going down there. I just walked up on a bird feeding in this standing corn, but it didn't see me. I think it's just a hen. She's worked her way over the rise down towards the creek. I have a feeling I really need to go down there and check on the bottom field just to make sure there ain't anything else in there. That Jake is pretty close, but I've lost sight of him. There's at least 2 hens farther back that are working this way, I think. had him about 8 yards, maybe less. I definitely thought about shooting him, especially this late in the season, but he'll be a longbeard next year, I guess. He just crossed the creek over onto the neighboring property. I've lost sight of all the hens, and there's no sight of any longbeard. I don't know whatever happened to that bird. I will say that bird that was gobbling earlier, he had a real short gobble, and when I found that scratch and everything, they were headed this way, so it's possible it was that Jake gobbling the whole time. I saw a tom when I first bumped into birds earlier today. I don't know what happened to him. Alright, that'll about do it for today. I feel like I could have killed one if I hadn't walked all over those birds earlier. I know there's at least one longbeard out here hanging around, and I could have killed a Jake, so that was cool seeing him up close and seeing those 3 hens dusting real close. Definitely a real nice place, so thanks Michael for letting me come out here. I definitely enjoyed it. We got 2 more days of Tennessee season, and we got a lot of rain in the forecast, so if it's a washout, then this is going to be my last hunt for the 2019 Tennessee turkey season. So if the rain breaks, I'll be out there, but if not, then this will be it. So thanks y'all for watching and sticking with me. I hope y'all enjoyed. It's definitely been a tough season, probably one of my toughest seasons ever, just with birds not cooperating and a whole lot more pressure than usual on public land. But I was able to squeak out a couple of gobblers. I had a couple of great hunts, so definitely not a bad season, and started it off on a good note down in Alabama. It was a lot of fun. So I think that'll be about it for today and possibly for the season. Hope y'all enjoy. I'm gonna get my rods ready, get my reels spooled up with fresh line, and start catching bait here pretty soon. I'll be hitting the water chasing the big cats. It's time to catch some catfish finally. If you're into that, stick around. I'll be on the water here soon. And anyways, I'm gonna head out, hit the road, head home, and I'll catch y'all next time.